Hey, Max Keller here, Save Your Home Buyers. You may have seen some of my other videos where I teach families and seniors how to what to do with their house and how to get the best outcome possible. And I'm dropping some paperwork off here in North Richland Hills, and I wanted to shoot this quick video about working on your house. Should you fix up your house before you sell it with an agent? So there's three primary ways to sell your home with an agent. As it is, fix it up and sell it with an agent or sell it to an investor. And they all have pros and cons. Check out some of my other videos where I break those down. But one of the things that I see happen more than not is somebody, especially the son. I don't know what it is about us guys, but we just love to work on houses. But the son will reach out to me, and his mom is in a rehab facility, or his mom just can't live in the house anymore, and the default mechanism is always to fix it up first. They're like, well, I want to fix it up so we can sell it and make more money. And I'm like, okay, and I give them a copy of my book. So you don't have a copy of my book. I'm a best-selling author of the book Home to Home, the Step-by-Step Senior Housing Guide, and it breaks down how to sell your house, all the different ways to stay in your home, the types of senior housing that's available, how to pay for it, and then I wrote a chapter just for the adult children. And so I say, okay, well, check out this book. So I remember one family in particular, he said, I want to fix up the house. I'm going to go up on the weekends. I'm pretty handy. And I was like, okay. And I gave him a copy of my book, and he read about some of the challenges. And, the main problems is houses can be a money pit and a time pit. And if your parents, I know when I was taking care of my grandma when she was she lived to be almost 91. And, it's like the Autobahn over here. And I remember during her last days, the last thing I want to do is work on her house. I just want to spend time with her. So houses take a lot of time. If you're not already a professional contractor, you can call contractors, but if you don't know a good contractor from a bad contractor, that can cause a whole slew of problems. That's why in our book, we wrote some scripts that you can check out that teach you what questions that you want to make sure that you ask a contractor before you work with them. So that's super important. The other thing is money. So fixing up houses can be very, very expensive, and it can really, if you do it the wrong way, you can spend a lot of extra money you don't need, and it can just literally wipe out and deplete all of your savings, maybe your parents' savings too. So how do you avoid that? Well, I'm going to teach you a couple of those things right here on the video. So number one is really look at your house and make sure that it's the type of property and project that you want to get involved in. It just depends on your level and your background. I mean, if you're already a contractor and it's easy to do a rehab, well, okay, that kind of makes sense. But if you're just a DIY and you're doing these on the weekends, that's a whole nother ball game. Another thing is that a lot of times people focus on, hey, I know her. That's one of my customers. So a lot of times, people focus on the cosmetic stuff. And, they're like thinking, okay, well, everything else in the house is good. I'm going to put in some new flooring and paint and sell it for a lot more. And what we found is that the biggest risk factors are not the stuff that you can see. Like our company, I've rehabbed over 100 houses just right here in Northeast Tarrant County. And, does your house have a cracked sewer pipe? Is there foundation problems? What's going on with the roof, the air conditioner, the electrical? And a lot of times those components you can't see very well. And so those are the most expensive parts of fixing up a house. And if you do a bunch of cosmetic stuff in the inside, but your house needs foundation work or there's a plumbing problem, a lot of times you have to undo all of that. So rehabbing it's not what they made it look like on the TV shows. I remember when I was a math teacher in HEB ISD and a substitute in Birdville, I love the TV shows. That's what got me into this. But then I noticed that once I start doing it, it's not like that at all. There's a lot of unknowns, and they rarely show those. So just make sure that you know that going in, and take a real honest look at the house. Make sure that you're working with a professional that can match up the repairs and rehab that you're doing to the actual neighborhood. This is a big mistake I see a lot of times is, folks mean well, but they rehab the house based on what they like or what they think is better than what was already there. But that doesn't have anything to do with it. It's what the buyers want in that neighborhood if you're going to sell it to a retail buyer. And so if that's the case, you got to know exactly what's selling in that neighborhood. And it's different based on neighborhood. It's different based on the price point of the house. You know, if your house is very expensive, the finish outs are much different than the lower ones. And so if you don't know how to absolutely, we call it just nailing the rehab. If you don't know how to nail the rehab, then don't rehab your own house, because you're going to lose. You're either going to put stuff in there that's too high end, which you're going to waste money. Or you're going to put stuff that's too low end and the buyers aren't going to want it. So it's going to sit on the market, or you're going to lose money for that. Another thing is that when you rehab a house, some of the things that need to get done, you don't end up actually making a lot on that. You know, like if you go and replace an air conditioner in our book, the ranges are between $5,000 and $10,000 and up, you know, for a price of an air conditioner. If you put a new air conditioner in a house and you're putting that money out, $5-10 grand, it doesn't increase the value of the home like 20 grand. You know, it might increase it the same amount for what you paid or a little bit more. It might make somebody want to buy it a little quicker. Maybe you don't have to have a service agreement when you sell it. But so, you know, what I would say is just get educated on what the rehab really looks like. Feel free to reach out to us and get a copy of our book, where we got the list of questions to ask the contractors if you don't want to go it alone and get some help. And just see where it goes. But those are the main pitfalls: is not nailing the rehab to the neighborhood, it taking way more time than you thought when you really want to use your time for something else, or the rehab because, you know, getting either hooked up with the wrong contractor or just getting things done that you don't need to get done. It turns into a giant money pit, and you want to avoid that, right? So anyways, I hope that helps, and have a great day. Be well and be blessed. Bye.